So
that was a nice email you got, Tim.
Yeah, John actually sent the email. It was
it was a bloody well written, Johnny.
Yeah, well
written. Mate, hands up. Yep. Hand up, yeah.
Michelle was very impressed.
And I've actually got
I love this camp.
Yep. Had a good weekend on the punt too. Got a few good price winners in the weekend.
Want to hear a bad story?
Yeah.
I did a multi on one of the footy games on the weekend with sports bet, and it was a 4-game multi, and I was going to win $800 and something for $10.
Yep. And
it was under the point margin. Someone had covered the line. Guy from GWS to kick 2 goals. He had to be the leading goal kicker. So he was, and then Josh Kelly to be leading disposal getter. And I got it. Well, I thought I got it. Got paid out half because Josh Kelly came equal possession getter and there was equal goal kicker. So I got paid half. Got nearly 400 in my account. Thought, you beauty, that was good for $10. And that was at 10-6, I think it was. I got paid.
Yep.
I went to have a multi on another game, and all of a sudden the money's gone. 40 minutes later, they've readjusted the stats, and Josh Kelly got taken off a stat and lost the bet.
Oh, fuck off.
So it was in there for 40 minutes, and 40 minutes later they went in and took it back out.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not surprised.
So that's the last time. I mean, I was talking to a group of guys and they reckon, that happens all the time. I said, well, that's fucking bullshit, like they've paid out on the stats being wrong. That's not my problem. They're paid out, and then they just go into your account and take the money out, like 40 minutes later when the stats are readjusted.
And that's sports bet?
Yeah, that was sports bet, yeah.
Okay. They just don't want winners, do they? They really don't want winners.
So I sent them a dirty email and all of that, and anyway, the guy, I asked him to call me because the live chat, Sheila said, how do you want to be contacted? I said, well, tell him to ring me. I prefer to speak to him. No, just an email saying, no, you've lost the bet, blah, blah, blah. And I replied back and I said, yeah, well, that's how you treat all your customers, isn't it? You don't give a shit about your customers. Like I thought they could have offered like a $20 or $50 free bet and said, look, there's been the stuff up. Here's a free bet just to say, look, no hard feelings. Would have been good. No, nothing. Not a thing.
No. And they don't.
They don't. How like if they pulled the money out, what would have happened then?
Yep.
One of the guys said to me, if you bet on multis in footy with stats and that, and you get paid out, he said, pull the money straight out. Don't leave the money in there. And that way, if they have to pay you out, he said they won't worry about it because they're not going to fight you for $300 or $400.
Yep.
So, unbelievable.
So you'll know that in the future then, won't you?
Yeah, well, I won't be betting the sports bet anymore. I took all my money out of there and said, fuck you. So, I mean, I really only bet with Betfair. Yeah. But obviously they don't do multis and stuff like that. So, going back to Neds, see what, I've bet with Neds before, so I've just doing multis and that with Neds.
Just some of the prices that we got in the weekend through Betfair compared to the bookies, I just can't bet. I would never try and get an account with them ever. I just can't be bothered. I'd rather not have a bet on, knowing that I'm going to get better percentages in the wrong run by betting with Betfair. That's the whole way I look at it. And I know because I've worked for a couple of bookmakers and that, and they want $500 punters that will bet $5 a go because they know they're not going to win in the long run.
Yeah.
That's all they want. And the moment they'll give you credit for 500 compared to what you put in, the moment you're in credit, they know they've got you by the balls. And that's exactly how they think. That's exactly what they say. We want to get them. So once they're in credit with us, they can't leave.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Get them for, don't ask for 10,000. We don't want the $10,000 punters because that's smarter boys. We want the $500 punters that are putting half their week's wages in.
Yeah.
Which to me is just like they're robbing for Peter to give to Paul, but they ain't going to give it to Paul because they're just going to keep it.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
and you
right.
see them,
yeah.
all of these ones where they give you the free bets and whatever, and they'll give you the first 4 races, whatever. They just want you betting early so they can get money out of you.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm not sure if any of the other guys come on, because quite a few guys said they were coming on and they don't turn up. So, you know, I think some of them don't understand how the Zoom works with it. So I've got a few questions here that were given to me, and that we'll talk about them. I'll start with your questions, John. All right.
Yeah,
if a punter has a small bank, as I do, what can they consider to build the bank? Oh, all right, someone else come on, Lance Hubert, someone else. I'll let this guy in first, and we'll introduce him to everybody.
Come on.
Just wait for him to. Can you hear us, Lance?
Yep. Oh.
Yep. Just flick your camera on there, bud. So, Lance, we got John and Trevor on here. I'm Tim. I'm the one that runs RaceBiz.
Yeah.
Yep. Can you see your camera there, mate?
Yeah, I can.
Anyway, this is a get-together that we have for the guys so they can talk racing if they've got anything to say or they've got any questions they want to ask or things like that. Some of the guys have sent some questions in, which I'm going to read out, and then I'll answer them, and then if you all want to have a say about this. So the first one was from John, and it says, he said, if a punter has a small betting bank, as I do, what can you consider to build their bank? Well, the whole thing with a small bank is it's a safety mechanism. You've got to play it as safe as you possibly can. So I'm a big believer either do small multis or pick them to win, back them to place. You know, that's the way I would look at doing it with a small bank. Because if you're chasing big multis, if you don't cover every facet like using parlays, whereas if you do a parlay, you've got the first, if you're doing a 4-horse leg in it, and say you're only doing it for $1, it's a $15 outlay. So you've got them, back them for win. You can back the first, the last, the second, and the third. The first and the second, whatever way you want to do them. With it, that's one way of doing it. I do a lot of parlays. The only problem with a parlay is you can only do a parlay on the one race meeting. You can't, with a multi, you can pick and choose how you do it with it. But you've got to play as safe as you possibly can.
Tim, can you explain more about parlay? I've heard about them. Can you explain more how?
A parlay is, with a multi, you've got to click every box. With a parlay, if you click the 4 boxes, it will cover every format of like a multi. But a parlay, I'm pretty sure it's a parlay is the first for the place to win across all of them, and then it'll do like a multi on every leg with it, and that. So it covers every way of a multi, but just has a few extras with it. All right, but it's only a parlay is only on one race meeting. Like if you do it Caulfield, Sandown, whatever, it's on the one race meeting.
So if you have a 4-leg parlay, you've still got to get the 4 legs up to get a.
No, you don't. No. On something, either one horse wins, or you get 2 horses win, whatever, it doesn't matter where they are, it'll still be a combination at some part of it. All right.
Okay.
One thing when you do a multi and you do the 4 legs, if you don't tick all of the boxes with it, if you don't tick, okay, I want the doubles, the trebles, the 4s, and the win bets, which is an 11 horse combination with 4 horses. If you don't tick them all and you miss one, you won't get paid out on it. You'll get paid out only on what you've ticked.
And what's the best company to bet your parlays with?
I just do them with the tab. The reason I do them with the tab, I do it with the tab. I'm never getting the same price as I do with Betfair, ever.
Yeah.
But I can do it. I'm better off if I'm going to do a multi. I would rather sit there and do the multi all up on Betfair if I'm going to do it that way. That way I can do one in Sydney, one in Brisbane. Like I backed Dexilation in the weekend. I backed Phantom Falcon in Brisbane, and then I had a couple of shorties. And then what I do is I'll do the double, the treble, and the quadding leg, and I'll all up them. But I have to start with a small amount, and then if you say you get the $400 on your 4th leg, you have to split it up. You can't putting a 400 bet down unless you've got an agreement with Betfair is quite hard. But if you have $100, you can go in and take 10. Like I would go in and I would take 10 or 5 best starting price. I find best starting price, I tend to get better results. If you're trying to match them during the punting, and you can always put in the price you're looking for and hopefully it goes to it, sometimes you'll only get part of it matched. That's what I find with it. So I tend to take my risk and I do best starting price, because I very seldom not get matched.
So would you say if you're a small punter like John and myself, parlays are a good way to go?
Yep, because all you're doing is you're taking $1 or $2 parlays, because what it does, depending on what boxes you want to, because when a parlay comes up, you'll see these 4 boxes or 6 or whatever. Make sure you tick them all. All right, you tick them all, and you'll see it multiply, and then it'll say how much you want to do. You go $1, and it'll multiply it to $15.
Okay.
All right, so that way you know you've got all the legs covered. And really, if you're doing $15, if one of them wins and you've got it at 20 to 1, you've covered your parlay.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And then if you get 2 legs, you know you've covered a lot of combinations. If you get 3 legs. If you get all 4, you get every combination.
Yeah.
I've turned $55 into $3,000 several times. And that's by doing, on multis, doing $5 4-horse multis.
Yeah.
That's
and all you need, you only need one at a good amount, one horse at a good price to get a good return.
Yeah.
And that's, I always say, if you're going to do it, always look at the money, how the money's coming to them. I never ever read racing reports. I read stewards' reports. All right, because that's the true word. I don't, because a lot of these places, Betfair, not Betfair, but Sportsbet and all of them, they want you. Like a good example on the weekend was, I'll just find it for you guys. I'll just move you over here, and I'll find the name of the horse. And everyone on the weekend was everyone was saying, back it. And I thought it was the lay of the day, because it Wilmot passed. I didn't think it was a good bet to me.
Yeah.
Being it's never ever ever in its life won 2 races in a row. It's always
plus it was drawn one, gets back at Moonee Valley. Always going to need a lot of luck.
Yeah, and when it's stuck on the fence, and when I did my pro form on the Friday night, I said Dexilation. I thought Dexilation was one of the best bets of the day. And the reason, and that's why I put it up as a free tip in the free stuff, because I thought it was great value. I rated it at 2 to 1.
That was an excellent tip, mate.
It had much better win rate form, on a slow track, it had excellent form, and at the distance, it ticked all the boxes. And those guys do not bring horses from South Australia to Melbourne for nothing. They very seldom do.
No.
You know?
No, he had 2 in and they backed the other one, the 2-year-old, and it did no good. It let up and dropped out, and Declaration got up 1.
I can see why they backed it, because it did show good form at the last start.
Yeah.
And I backed both of them. I backed Declaration and I backed their other one.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I try and when I do my form, because I do use a ratings, and I always use ratings. I look, if I don't have a rating on a race, I won't even think about having a bet. You know, because I want to know whether my price, I'm going to get value in it. And on Saturday, I think I had 3 horses in Perth that paid better than 12s. I had 3 horses in Melbourne that paid better than 15s, and I had Phantom Falcon in Brisbane, and it was just one of those days where my ratings worked. You know, I mean, the guys, based on a take out of $100 a race on my 8 rated races, they took out $1,300 or $1,200, and on Accelerator, you know, I mean, they could have had 3 outsiders. They had 2 of them, because they had Phantom Falcon, which I had at 3-1 in Brisbane, and I paid $36. In Declaration, I had even money, but I should have had Alsvin, but I had 4 horses in the race that all rated at the same price.
Yeah.
You know, so it's then a matter of, I have to try and pick out what I think's the best too. And I made a mistake. I picked the wrong one. I still backed it, because under my rating system, I had it at 6-1, and it was paying 21s when I backed it, and I paid 18 starting price. You know? So that's how I sort of sum stuff up. But when it comes to small betting banks, I think you've got to have smaller outlay to try and make a better return. But going the 4, I would tend to stick to 2 or 3 horse multis. All right, because it's easier to get 2 legs. It's very hard to get 4. If you're going to try the 4, you've got to cover every horse in some way. All right, because if you're doing it for $15 and 1 leg you have it, it's a 15-1 shot, and it happens to be the 1 leg that wins, it gets your money back, or a majority of your money back.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know.
Yep.
How you going, Lance?
You're not too bad.
Yeah, mate. If you've got any questions, just throw them up.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just listening, yeah.
Yeah, yep. So here's another one. I like to bet each way, as I'm usually looking for a decent return on the place. Your thoughts on the pros and cons of this? Would you consider telling each way punters to up the ante on a horse with a good price that you consider good value? Okay, this is where if you're gonna back longer priced horses, you want them to rate short. So a good way, if you don't have ratings, look at what the tab or wherever you bet, what they've got as a rating. All right. If you want to back something for the place or an each way one, make sure it's at least in the top 2 or 3 in the rating. So what I mean is the 100 rater on the side of the pool, right? You look at that.
Yeah.
If you have, say you have 2 horses, one's a 100 rater, one's a 99 rater, and the next in the race is 83, right? Every 3 points is 1 length. So if you have the top 2, you know it's meant to be like a long neck or a neck between first and second, statistically how it should finish. If one's paying 3-1 and one's paying 10s or 15s, back both of them. Because what I would do, because statistically they're meant to finish first and second, so I would quinella them, and then I would back them both. And the longer price one I would back each way. The shorter price one I would back to win.
Yeah.
All right, because you're not going to make any money by backing it to place. But the other one, and then if they both place, you actually get if one, like the shorter price one wins and the other one runs a place, and you happen to get the quinella, you've covered what you're doing. All right. When I say to guys, if you're looking for value in the market, Don't look for the races where you've got the 100 rater is number 1, and then you go down and the bottom rated horse is 94, because statistically there's 2 lengths between first and last. So anything could win the race. Look for those races where 1 or 2 of them have an advantage statistically over the field. They're good betting races. You'll find them in set weights and penalties, open handicaps, and and if you find a 100 rater is one of the top weights, seriously look at it, because if it has 2, 3 or 4 kilo weight difference between the first and the second horse in the race, statistically it's got more class. All right, so you know it's got at least a 1.5 to 2 length advantage over that field. And that I look at a lot of those. When I do my races and they come up, you'll see that a lot of the top weights that have got the double 100 or 99 rating or whatever, they quite often will be in the finish. All right, so you've got to decide, okay, do I back them each way or do I just back them for the place? If you're trying to back them for a place, the thing is, pick them to win, back them to place. All right, because punting's a long-term thing. It's not I'll win today and I'll win tomorrow. You know, if you think you can go to the track with your $500 wages each week, you will be a loser. If you haven't spent a good 20 or 30 hours doing the form, and you've got a good system to use that works, and always write down every single bet you have, from Cornellas to win bets to trifectas, all of them, and then over time you'll see the pattern that works for you and the places where you want to bet. I think if you're going to start betting in that, you should pick one place out and only bet there. I'm a big Melbourne punter. Right? I love Melbourne, and I don't mind Brisbane, because Brisbane I can sometimes get value. I hate Sydney. Hate it with a passion. I just find it's dominated by too many trainers, and when you have one trainer with 5 horses in a race, it's very difficult to make money, because it's quite hard to work out, you know, the way they bet their horses, because it's a very liquid market, because there's a lot of money in it. So you've got to be very good at being able to pick out where the money's going. Because in Sydney, the money doesn't, you know, you get some of the early money, especially in the younger horses, you get a lot of early money, but the ones in the big races, they'll back 4 or 5 in a race. Whereas in Melbourne, you only usually get 1 or 2 in a race. You know, so it's easier. If you go through and look at some of my money mover results off the website, you'll see in there that you'll see in Melbourne, there's a lot of money in the markets, and the money that on the horses that win in Sydney are in the later races, because they're proven race horses. Yeah, they've got proven form to be able to watch. You'll see quite a lot with the way the horses are. Set weights and penalties, the favoured horses tend to win most of those races, and they're the ones that get back because they have a weight advantage by far. You'd agree with that, wouldn't you, Trevor?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, the perfect thing was that one in the last race in Melbourne, not the week gone, the week before.
Yep.
One with Lindsay Smith. I mean, it was just immoral because of the weight. Like, it should have been giving so much weight away. And it was
exactly, you dropped 3 kilos trying to start before, and it was still in the same class.
Yeah.
Yep.
While it was in black and white figures, it was value. So.
Yep. And people said to me, "Oh, but there's no value. It's only paying $2." Well, go to the bank. Is the bank going to give you 100% on your money for a minute and a half? I don't fucking think so.
No, exactly.
Yeah. You walk in there and say, "Oh, I've got $100, mate. I want $100 for my money, but I'll come back. I'll just walk out, close the door, walk back in." They just tell you to fuck off.
Yeah.
And it's the same as people say to me, "Oh, I never backed it because of the price. You know, it was paying $30. Okay, well, fucking the only horse I ever knew that could talk was Mr. Ed.
Yeah.
You know, you don't walk on the track and go, "Oh shit, I'm paying $36."
Yeah, I'm not going to try today.
Yeah, yeah. Oh shit! I'm not meant to win because I'm not meant to make any money here.
That's what amazes me with a lot of these, like especially on a Saturday at these secondary meetings, like Kemler Grange and Gosford and places like that. You see so many of these odds-on horses, and you know you see so many of them get beat because they've got good form, but a lot of the other horses, they might be first up or whatever, but I just wouldn't. I just cannot back horses that are paying $1.50, $1.60. You just see so many of them getting rolled. It's just unbelievable how they can get the market so wrong.
Yeah. I agree with you there. Yep, and the reason I use the ratings like I do is because I want to know whether I'm betting in the right sort of market. If my market is the same as a bookmaker, I'm not interested. I know I can't make a profit. But if I look at something like, the horse on the weekend that I did was, what the fuck did I just say it was? Hold on. Acceleration, that thing there. Well, that marker there, I had warm up pass at $3.30, and it was $1.90 in the morning. Like to me, that's just like, and I think the day before I even had it longer than that, and it was only because there was a couple of scratchings that it changed slightly. But they were talking it up like it was unbeatable, and like you said, John, Trevor, it was going to get that far back in the field. It was going to be that far back in the field that really, its chances of winning. The only horse that I thought I didn't rate it the same way, but was the thing that Dwayne Dunn rode.
Yeah. Well, you can put that in. You can back that in everything it starts because it'll win a Group 1 race. That horse.
Oh, for sure. But you got the right guy on the horse though. Yeah. I think Dwayne.
Plus, that's just a better horse. Simple as that. It's a better horse.
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
They've always talked about it, and they've only just got it right. And having a bit of patience.
It beat yes. So and I think he's got it. I think he's finally got rid of all its injuries, and it'll win a Group 1 race. That horse.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
It's the way it won on Saturday. It made them look second rate.
Certainly did.
Yeah. It's not, but it's nice to watch those sort of horses. They're the sort of horses that you're not scared to back at $2.
No, and it's good. He's only a young trainer, that Jason Warren. So for him to have a good horse like that,
he's had a couple in the past, but he's had a lot of injuries with them.
Yeah.
He's got a beautiful complex.
Yeah.
Where he trains out of.
Yeah. It's good to see new trainers, rather than the same trainers getting all the good horses. So
Yep. And because one of the questions I also got asked is, multis. Well, what do I regard, the idea of regards to that type of betting? You've got to be, when you do multis, you're either got to be willing to back all short price, because a lot of guys won't do 4-horse multis with 4 even money favourites. When they're the 4 best horses on the day. But it goes 2 times 4 times times 8 times 16. It's a pretty good return for a buck.
Yeah.
160% on your dollar. And then if and you only, for your dollar, you only have to have 2 legs get up and you've got all your money back, sort of thing. Because to do a 4-horse multi on that would cost you $11.
Yeah.
All right. That's to cover the doubles, the trebles, and if you do get all 4, you get all 11 combos.
Yeah.
I still am a bit more, because I bet in certain places. I'm more of a multi-punt, more of a parlay punter.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of guys bet all over the place. They try and read this track and this field and that, whatever. You've got to work out the class you like to bet in, and you've got to work out where you like to bet. And I think that's a better option on the way you punt. You know, with me, I like open handicaps, set weights and penalties. I like betting between 1,400 metres and 2,000 mainly, because 1,600 to 2,000 you need a fit racehorse. You don't need a stayer, because in the staying ranks you tend to get horses win one week and not win the next. In the 1,000-metre sprint races, I like to look at those if they're in the Group 1 era. That sort of, because the better class horses tend to win them. And when it comes to trifectas, first fours, all that sort of thing, I always look at the pool before I have a bet, and I'll only do it if I've got 1 or 2 horses in my combos that are going to at least have 20 to 1 or 25 to 1 chance in the race that I rate in my top 3. If I rate them in my top 3 and they're off me 40s or whatever, I'll do that sort of race, because I'm looking for a better return. You know, I like in the first fours, you normally the pool size on the average tab will be 400,000. You know, in the big races. So I don't do a lot of trifectas or first fours unless they're open handicaps or finals or championship finals or things like that, because I know the pools are going to have the money in them to give you a bit of liquid. So it's a hard game to make money in. You know, I mean, I spend every day looking at, I look at all of the races. I look at everything. And at the end of the day, I then go through and I watch all of the videos. You know, like I watch the races once or twice. You know, and then I'll wait until the next day or the day after when the stewards report's out, then I'll go and read all the stewards reports. That's my first part. That's how I find my black bookers.
So when you read a steward's report, what are you looking for?
Interference, or injuries. You know, if a horse has come back lame or something like that, or or why a jockey gets reprimanded, what he's been reprimanded for, that sort of stuff. But mainly interference and injuries. You know, because sometimes a horse, when you expect it to run well, comes back lame.
Yeah.
You know, and that and a lot of guys don't. It's the same as you can watch a race and a horse may need some sort of gear. When you're watching it, you can tell it. Like I really like that thing that I tipped on my last lot of black bookers, which is right here in Victoria. Where is it? I'll just find it for you. And yep. All right. So I'm just looking at this. Where is it? See, Polo Grey Sunshines. It was. Now it ran again on the weekend, but the state of the track, and I think it needs blinkers. Yeah, looking all around the track. You know, but I also had. Hold on, mate. Michelle, I'll just have to get rid of this. There's something yakking away next to me here, and I need to stop it. Turned over. So anyway, with that, because I had Polly Gray as one of my black bookers on Saturday too, you know, but he was just caught wide, and he only went down by a half neck on the line. I still think Dexilation was one of the better bets on the day. You know?
Yeah.
What I'm trying to always find is markets upside down. That's what I try. And if I tip things like on the best bets or whatever, don't throw them out because they're at the top of their rating when I've tipped them. Right? Because you'll find quite often they can win the next or the start after. And I always say follow them for 3 starts. If they win a start, throw them out.
Yeah.
You know, like stop backing them.
Yeah.
You know, my whole goal is to help guys win money. I don't want you to have a bet and not at least think you've got some sort of show. You know, you'll notice that in the last few weeks, I've only had one day, I think, where I actually haven't tipped some sort of winner for free.
Yeah, mate.
And I don't see the point. Some guys can't afford to buy stuff. They just can't afford, but they like to have a bit of a dabble. So my idea is, well, mate, if I can make you a few bucks, that makes my day. You know, I'm not a massive punter at all. Not a massive punter, but I know some very, very big punters. You know, like I know guys that made 13 and 14,000 out of my information on the weekend. You know, and for $50 a week, and they get 5 days of tipping, it's not a bad return.
Yeah.
You know, especially at the price. Like Saturday, they made a $27 outlay. They made $400 or $384 through Betfair, just on the horses. And you don't have to back every horse. I mean, if there's horses in a race and I tip them at $2.25 because I put a price on them and they're paying $2.30, you know, I'd be looking at the ones that are the super values, because the longest price horse that I've given on Accelerator is 70 to 1. You know, so that's if you a flat stake 100, you know, $10 a race, and on the day you back 7 or 8 and you back the outsiders as well. And Saturday, like that was not last Wednesday, the Wednesday before. That was a 71 shot, and then on Saturday you had a $27 winner and a $36 winner. Well, that's $1,000 for $10 outlay. And you might have, in that whole period, you might have maybe backed 25 horses if you were backing anything that was valued. And that would be maximum for anything that was paying better than $10.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm only tipping on those sheets the best rated horses at that time. You know, what I think anyway. And I back what I tip.
Yeah.
So all of the win prices are all based on Betfair starting price.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes I have a bet in some of the races, and looking at where the money's moving, they can't win the race. There's just nothing there to indicate, even though they rate the way they do, they're just not indicating that they're in the right race or in the right conditions normally, because it might have been done the ratings of the day before at a good track. By the time it's come to the race, it's a heavy track. I know straight away I'm just pissing in the wind, or pissing into the wind and blowing in my face. You know, I might as well just burn the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on here also, I've got another question here. Let's talk about bank, meaning percentages to the bank. I work on 1% of my bank. All right. But I also have separate banks for if I'm doing multis, or if I'm doing win betting, or if I'm doing exotic betting in the way of first falls, trifectas. And then I write down every combination I do, where I bet, what race I do, how much I outlay, what the return is, what the profit is. So it's about, and working on 1%, I find a lot of guys say, oh, the guys that are very, very good at it will do 5%. But I think, you know, you've got 20 bets before you break. I like the 1% because you've got 100 bets before you break. You know, and then and it's long term, I base everything on a year, not on that day's racing. I do it so I can try and build the bank, that sort of thing. And then as the bank goes up, I'll stay to 1%. As the bank goes down, I'll keep to 1%. All right. So if you've got, say, you've got 2,500, that's $25 a race. So you don't need a massive bank. So if you've got $1,000, it's $10 a race. All right. So it's just, I just think it's a bit of balance, and you've got to look at it long term. Otherwise, it's just too dangerous. Otherwise. Okay, boys, you got anyone want to ask any other questions?
I have, but it's something that'll probably take too long tonight. I'd love to know how you do your form. When you open a race,
Yep.
or when you start, I don't know when you do your form for a Saturday, but what you look for and how you come to your rating. So yeah, that's
Okay.
doing form for
What I'm going to do, I'm doing a new ebook at the moment, right? In that ebook is going to have a tick system, one that you can use for every race. Now, I can do it fairly quickly because I did write some stuff down today. Where is it? Write it down. All right, so real quick way when it comes to, say when you're talking about ratings, when you're doing it, and the way I sort of look at it, I'll start off by, I'll look at the field, and I'll look at what the first bookmakers' opening prices are on it, and then I'll look at what the ratings are on the race, and I'm looking for those ratings that are not in line with what the bookmakers are putting up as prices. All right, because then I know, okay, I think they've got the race upside down. I'm looking for those races upside down where my 100 rater is 20 to 1 and their top numbered horse is 3 to 1, right? But it's the lowest thing in the weights. It's had 3 starts, maybe 2 wins, and say 1 win and a place getter, and it's up against horses that have had 30 starts. All right. Education-wise, I know that's a good race to bet against. And then I look at what the best jockeys are riding, and if they're not on any of those and they're on some of the value horses, I then look at why they're on it. And then I'll go through and I look at say probably the top 6 horses in the race back to 6 lengths in their last start. And then I look at how many wins they've had in their last 3 starts. And then I look at, from there, the class of races they've been racing in. And I try and balance out from there how I start my ratings. You always got to start with a base rating of the horse's last start, what it comes off its last start. All mine are done via a program, right? So it'll take 40 algorithms down on win percentage, average money, class, recent form, the last 12 months, time form, weight form, and distance. They're the main ones when you're doing a rating. It's pretty simple from that point of view. And then I look for those races where I'll look at them, and when I look at my ratings, if my horse is paying 3 to 1 on my ratings and they're offering me 25s, but it's my top rater, and it might have 2 points between it and the next horse, I'll have a good reason, look at the reason why. Like with Dexilation, the more I read into his form, the more I could see why he came up the way he did. Because he just had everything. He drew the right barrier. He was excellent at the distance on a slow track. He had never been unplaced. He had a good win rate, and in this class he had won races, right? And he was always on the pace. When I watched the video of the start before, the jockey was not aggressive on him at all at the end of the race. So I thought, you're being set for a certain race. That's how I saw it in my eyes. And then when the rating came up at 2 to 1, and they were offering me 14s the day before, and then it went out to 27s, I don't care if a horse drifts in the market, couldn't care less. If I think it's rates that, I'll still back it.
Yeah.
You can go to Betfair and you can look in the live, and you can see what the average prize money on it. And if the field, the favourite's got 50,000, the rest of them have 10 or 15,000 on them, no one really knows who the favourite is. That favourite on that Walmart should have had 250, 300,000 on it coming into the race within the last 5 minutes. But when it started, the money really starts coming in, and it didn't. It had like 90,000 on it. and the others in the race had 30 and 40,000. For me, that just tells me that it's not a true favourite. Based on the way the money's looking. Money speaks volumes in racing.
Yeah.
But when I'm doing the form on the tick system, when I finish the ebook, you guys will be able to all be able to get it. All right, and the tick
that's great.
If you grab the tick system and you pick out 10 races, it might take you a couple of hours to do 10 races. But the tick system, you'll see in some races that 2 horses will stand out from the rest of the field. All right?
Yep.
And then you'll find, oh, look, that one's 7-1, and that one's 3-1. And if you back both of them and do a Quinella or take the 2 to win in a trifecta and take the top 10 horses, you'll win races. And just remember, you don't have to do the full dollar. Do them for a percentage. For trifectas, Quinellas, all that sort of thing. That's where I think guys, they go silly. They'll have $500 and they'll have 5 $100 bets. If I went down to the tab with $500, I would rather have $105 bets. And because you'll get 20% better returns on Quinellas. Trifectas, you're better off doing bankers or rovers with a lot more horses because you want to make sure you get it. And what I mean by that, you get 1 horse to win or 2 horses to win, and then 3 horses for second, 7 horses for third. Right, so it's 2 times 2 times 5, because you have the same 2 horses to win, you have the same 2 horses to run second with 1 other one, the same 2 horses to run, 3 horses to run third with 4 other horses. So the combination is 2 times 2 times 5. So it's 2 times 4 times 5, $20. But you've covered 7 horses. For $20, if you box 4 horses, it costs you $24. I just think you'll get a lot more bets out of it that way. For $6, you take 1 horse to win, you take 3 horses to run second and third. You're covering yourself a lot better. Because my favourite is I'll take 1 to rover, and I'll take 8 horses to run second and third to rover, right? So it's 7 times 7, 49. Okay, so it's $150 to do it for a rover, because the 1 horse, if you take it for a rover, has to run first, second, or third with any of the 8 horses. That way there, but you can take that for 10%. So for $14, you're covering 9 horses. And you're just trying to find the 1 place getter, really. That way you get long shot, short ones, whatever, in the combo.
No, that's good advice, mate. I appreciate all that. That's really good advice.
Because if you get a trifecta that pays $1,500, but you only get it for 10%, it only costs you $15. Pretty good return for your money. Do it in the races where there's a lot of liquidity. Right? So all you do is you go to the tote, to the tab, get the page, scroll down the bottom of the page, and look what's in the trifecta pool or the first 4 pool. There's no reason betting in it. That's how I sort of look at it anyway. I'm not a big fan of, like, there are ways you can use bonus bets with it, but you can also do bonus bets where you can take a bonus bet to win, and then you can lay the same horse on Betfair for the same amount, right? So you take the risk of doing it, because if it loses, if it wins the race, you have to pay out on Betfair. But if they win the race over here on the tote, you're going to make more money than what you've lost on Betfair. So you're going to make the increment in between. That's why with green booking, you can lay the red hot favourite in a very small field and back the other 4 horses. All right, because your liability on Betfair is, say it's $1.20 favourite in a field of 4. You've got to remember, they'll be concertinaed up at the end of the race, right? Well, and during the race. People go, oh, yeah, but it's a $1.20 favourite. It's got a 15% win rate. It's got a 3-claimer jockey on it, and it's got a trainer that you hardly ever hear of. It's already got 3 ticks.
Yeah.
And then when they're concertinaed up, those jockeys can play with that favourite. You only have to win 2 out of 5 of those sort of races, and you're going to make yourself a good profit, because if there's a $1.15 favourite in the race, the next horse in the race has to be at least 8 to 1. Yeah. Right? Otherwise, there's no balance for the bookies to make money on the book. So if you've got 4 horses, 8 to 1, 12 to 1, 15 to 1, 25 to 1, you've got more chance of winning the race, and you're going to win something over 5 different races. And I do that a lot in the real country meetings. And then what you do is, if it's a good trainer and a good jockey, you don't do it. You don't bet against it. But if it's an average jockey, average trainer, and a poor win rate, and a poor average prize money rate, back against it.
Yeah.
It's just
Tim, I've got to buzz off. Can I call you one day this week and talk to you about getting on board, mate?
Yeah, good as gold, mate. You just give me a call. Tomorrow morning I'm busy till lunchtime, but anytime. Just send me a text message and I'll have a chat to you, because I'd like to show you exactly what we do so you can see how to follow it. All right?
That'd be great, mate.
All
nice
right.
Talking, mate.
Yep. All right, same to you.
See you, Johnny. See you, Lance.
See you.
See you.
Right, boys.
See you,
All right,
Lance.
boys. Well, see you, mate. Nice to see you. Boys, we might call it quits, eh? Have you got any other questions, John? I can't hear you, mate. Your connection's not very good tonight.
No, mate, you covered, I think you covered probably.
Johnny, text me
mate.
through Messenger, send me your phone number and I'll give you a call.
Or
Email it to me. All right? Now, Lance, have you signed up for the free tips?
Yeah, I have that. Yeah, Tim.
Well, mate, if you ever want to know anything, mate, just send me a message. All right? If you want to ask any questions or you want to know anything, send me a message, because I'm quite happy to talk about anything.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that. What do you think about, say, each way betting, you go 1 by 4, 1 win 4 a place?
Yep, good idea. Good idea. You just got to make sure you're picking the right one, because doing it that way, it's like a safeguard as well. But for me also, the way I think, if you're gonna outlay $5 on a race, you're better off picking out 5 horses and backing them all to win. As long as they're paying 4 to 1 bet of the field, because you only need one of them to win, you get all your money back plus money. That's how Dutching is. If you go to the website, Lance, under resources, and find the article on Dutching, go and have a read about that.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
But I can jump online and have a chat to you about it to explain it. But no, it is a good idea, because if you're a small punter, you've got to safeguard your money.
And then sometimes I say you're betting with, say, Bet Easy or the Tab, they'll get a bet return if you get a place.
Yes.
You back it for a win.
Yep.
And then you get the bonus bet back
Exactly.
if you get second or third.
Yep.
That's sometimes I do that.
Yeah, yep. And when you get the bonus bet, have a good look through the form, because I always say to guys, with the bonus bet, because you have to turn your money over 3 times before you can get it back, when you get the bonus bet as an extra bet, go and just put it all on one horse. Because by the time you get, say you put on something at 5 to 1 and you get a $5 bonus bet or a $10 bonus bet, you put it on at 5 to 1, you get $50 back. You got more chance of being able to turn over $150 than you are of turning over $10.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you understand what I mean?
Yeah, all right.
Yep. So you've got to play them. You got to play them at their own game.
Okay. Look, I might, when it suits me some nights, I might check into your chats again. It's the first time I've done it.
Not a problem, mate. I'll be doing these every Tuesday.
Yeah, I see the list on there. Yeah, right.
Right.
Tuesday it hasn't suited me, but yeah, I'll try to whenever it's possible.
Yeah, and you guys don't mind because I want to post this in the group so guys can have a listen.
You've got what was that?
I want to post. I've taped this, so I want to post it in the group so guys can have a listen to what we talk about.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, mate.
And Tim, thanks very much.
My pleasure, mate. Thank you for coming on.
Yep, good on you. I'll leave you there.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye. All right, Johnny, you take my you've got my number, haven't you?
Yes, I have, mate.
All right, send me a message and I'll have a chat.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. Have you talked to Jeffrey?
Not for after our thing last week.
Yeah.
I did speak to him, but I haven't spoke to him for.
I had a chat to him today. He was busy today, so he rang me today.
Well, I'm glad he was busy.
Yes. Yeah. All right, mate. Nice to see you. See you next week. Bye.